My name's Doyle. Jim Doyle. Unemployed, ex-social services operative. I discovered my cases file on the back seat of my old car. Passed, but not forgotten. I'd only been working there a month when Reardon said...
Listen. Now listen, Doyle. I've had several complaints from residents of Sandringham Gardens. Apparently, a tenant's dog has been intimidating the neighbours. Definitely not allowed.
No, Mr. Doyle. Definitely not allowed.
What made matters worse was, as Reardon explained, a young girl had been bitten by a dog only a week before. So I drove over there to speak to a few people. Whoever named Sandringham Gardens was an optimist. Not a single blade of grass has grown there since the Blitz. Well, not the stuff that cows eat anyway. Eventually, I found someone who told me that a Mr. Rossiter, flat 12C, third landing, had bought a puppy a couple of months ago. Rossiter had paraded it round at first. But now, it only came out at night. With that gem of information, I made my way to the flat.
Mr. Rossiter?
Yeah? Hey, mister, down here. My dad's looking after me, but he's out at the moment.
Hello? Have you got a dog in there? Does your father own a dog? Answer me, you little bastard.
Yeah.
Mr. Rossiter?
Mike.
Mr. Rossiter, do you have...
Look, I bought the dog for me son when my wife left. Got it from the baby. I know it's getting a bit big to console, but the kid loves it.
Mr. Rossiter, they're keeping a dog... Now, I don't lay any claim to being an expert on canine genealogy, but I have always been keen on natural history. And the unrecognisably a hyena. I remembered my social services dealing with the public training course and tried to be tactful.
No, dog. It's a bloody hyena. No, it's not. It's only a puppy. Thank you, Mr. David Bleeding Attenborough.
A week later, Chester Zoo had a new and exotic inmate, already house-trained. Some months later, the department passed on the case of a girl. She turned up to skin of, well, negligence. They suspected her home left a lot to be desired.
Listen, Doyle. I'd like you to pay them. You like this one? Up your street.
Right, bollocks. There, in the heart of the metropolis, up 750 council steps because all the sodding... I reached the 18th floor. I found the door, no locks. So I went in. The stench was unbearable. Ideal nuclear family. Post-Holocaust.
After me, Mum. Would you like some tea?
Yes, but I didn't refuse as I followed her into the loose description.
It's mixing wool.
I had to light a cigarette to stop myself throwing up. There's fresh air, opened the door leading onto the balcony. The men from the hygiene department, they could understand the filth, they could accept, but how did they get the pony up there? The boys couldn't get it out, not without dissecting it. The girl and her grandmother were giving nothing away. Shortly after that, Reardon and I parted company, but not before he'd given me one last job, which restored at least some of my jaded faith in human nature. Nesbith. Mr. Nesbith, since he left hospital. He'd smoked 70 players a day since 1932 and had his legs amputated as a result. Rather than receive any kind of assistance, the old man fended himself, but he hadn't collected his pension for 2 weeks. I expected no answer, and my heart sank at the thought of coming back with the law to find the old boy dead. Mr. Nesbith, we'd given you up for dead.
Me? Top of the world, sir. Top of the world, sir. Are you from the work, sir? Yeah. I just made a pot of tea. Do you fancy a cuppa? Doctor went to sleep. And I did various trips.
We sat and chatted for a while.
And then started back out with the Irish family in New York. Mind you, it's full of Irish.
The house was immaculate and well tended, except a floor level. Mr. Nesbith, we'd given you up for dead.
Me? Top of the world, sir. Top of the world, sir. Are you from the work, sir? Yeah. I just made a pot of tea. Fancy a cuppa? Doctor went to sleep. And I did various trips.
We sat and chatted for a while.
And then started back to the Irish family in New York. Mind you, it's full of Irish.
The house was immaculate and well tended, except a floor.
And bone back to...
In every separating wall, knocked through the bricks and plaster, was a hole about 3 feet high.
Experience.
Not being able to contain my curiosity, I asked, Mr. Nesbith, why the holes?
Twiggy, come on. Lovely little boy. Yeah, I love you. Really. Yeah. Well, since I lost my legs, I can't give the dog the necessary exercise. Great idea, eh, Jim?
And who was to argue?